Are you doing a van build? Have you established a budget yet? That is tip number one from me to you on how to save money during your van build. Hello, my name is Michelle. I live in this 2021 Ford Transit that I converted with a ton of help from friends and family. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 tips for how you can save money, just like I did during the van build process. So let's jump into it. Here's the budget that I put together for my camper van conversion. It includes all of the phases, the major components that I purchased, and their costs. This sheet served as a checklist for what phase of the build I was in at any given moment. It helped me stay as close to my total budget of $15,300 as I possibly could, and this budget helped me map out the timing of major purchases. So do yourself a favor and set a budget. My second tip for you on saving money is to do the work yourself. One prime example that we saved money was my dad did a custom welded gray water tank cradle, and it is permanently mounted underneath the van. So I highly recommend that if you're going to do a van build, do the work yourself. Not only will you save money, but you will also know how your van is put together. So if you need to troubleshoot something, you can. The next tip is don't fall for the latest gadgets and fancy things. They are pretty, they're shiny, they're really expensive in most cases, and probably not necessary, or you can find a more affordable option. One prime example for that is a roof rack. One, do you really need a roof rack? You could mount solar panels and everything directly on the roof if you wanted. It's a little stealthier. Or two, you could go with a DIY version. Or three, you could go with the cheaper version. It may not be as fancy. It may not look as sleek and modern as some of the other ones, but it is most likely more affordable. Prime example here is I went with an 80/20 roof rack from Unaka, and it costs quite a bit less than their newest roof rack. And so I saved a decent amount of money just doing that. The next tip is to build based on your use case. It's really easy to get swept up in the latest van build trends and fancy shiny objects that can distract you away from the things that you actually need and the kind of travel that you plan on doing. For some of us, we are weekenders. For others, we are full-time. And your needs and desires are going to be different than somebody who is older or maybe younger or has a partner or a family with them or has pets or doesn't have pets. Those are all very important things to keep in mind when you're building. And I think if we can stay true to ourselves and not follow the trends or not fall into the trap of the latest and greatest, then you will ultimately save yourself some money. I think a great example of this is when I was doing my van build, the Dometic 3000 RTX, I think is the name of it, was the latest and greatest 12-volt air condition unit that is mounted on the roof, and it was extremely pricey. Was I think starting at $3,000, and that was probably the best deal that I could find, and everybody was buzzing about it, but I refused to pay $3,000 for an air conditioning unit. So I went with a lesser known brand name, and that was Velit. It works great. Comes with a remote. has an eco option, has multiple speeds, gets really cold. It runs off of my batteries. It also runs on runs when I'm plugged into shore power. So it's a win-win. I think the only thing that I would have changed was to go with the heat pump option, and then I would have had a heater in addition to an air conditioned unit. But I follow the temperatures or the weather, so that's not as important. My next tip for you is to get super crafty. I have a couple different examples or ways that we did that. The first being these storage cubbies. These I crocheted them and designed them myself. They're slightly different sizes. They start with small, a little bit larger, and then large. And they're hung on a dowel rod with some leather straps. The next are insulated window covers. My mom made me these. She's an amazing seamstress, and they work great. They've got a colored side and then a blackout side. They help keep the heat out, and they help keep the cool in, or vice versa when it's super cold outside. But yeah, these are great. The other thing that she made me, here, come with me. She made, sorry, it's stowed away right now, a cute little shower storage caddy. Can you see that? And it hangs up in my shower, and it works great. Get crafty, y'all. You guys already know this one, but this is more of a reminder. You need to, what I would say, triple bid your purchases, especially the big ones. Prime example is 3M Thinsulate. It's super popular, and I searched around a couple different sites to find the one that would either charge me less for the amount that I needed, right, overall, or two, charge me less for shipping, or didn't charge me at all. So be just aware that you don't have to go to the same vendors that everyone is going to. If you do a quick Google shopping search, you might find more vendors to select from, and some of them are going to just be more affordable than others. So do your research and you'll be grateful that you did. This next one is maybe obvious and maybe not. You don't have to use the same materials that everybody else does. I used 3/4 inch plywood for my countertops. We sanded them, we stained them, and then applied Spar polyurethane, and they have been extremely durable. They are so beautiful and warm and more affordable than butcher block. The second way that we didn't use the same materials as everybody else doing a van build is I chose to not go with tile. I use some plastic sheeting and it works great. It has these little corner edges or inserts that you slide the sheets to. Takes a little time to create, but I am super happy with the end result of my wet bath. And it beats the weight and the cost of tile. When we were researching how much it would cost to sew cushions for the U-shaped seat behind me, we went to a couple fabric stores and put together an estimate. It was going to be a couple $100 just for the materials, and that included the fabric and the cushion or the foam. But we quickly realized that if we outsourced it to a company, that it would cost me less and it would save me time, which meant that I could reapply that time and energy to other projects related to the van build. And that's exactly what I did. Another way that you can save cash is to buy things on a holiday weekend. Most manufacturers will have sales on holiday weekends. The major ones like Labor Day weekend, Memorial Day weekend, Black Friday is a great time to purchase things. And then the other would be to buy things refurbished or gently used. So an example is Amazon sells used items and they'll tell you what quality it is, if it's very good, good, like new, that sort of thing. Or you can find things on eBay and the more obvious marketplace. Sometimes it's going to be more cost effective to purchase a product than it is for you to engineer something or to create something yourself. So you have to weigh the pros and cons and do cost estimates throughout the entire time that you're doing the van build, just to make sure that you're getting the most value for your money and your effort, because it takes a lot of time to build one of these bad boys, and you only have so much available time, especially if you're working full-time or you have a family or you're traveling or you want to keep like working out and doing fun things in life, which I'm sure we all do. That's all that I have for you today. I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.